Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest from the live radar, run for the latest UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as we have got very warm conditions around at the moment, but it is all going to change in the next 24 hours as we see some cold, if not very cold, northeasterly winds with air coming directly in from Scandinavia and the Arctic. Temperatures are going to be well below average for the next week or so. Temperatures by day, maybe 7 to 9 degrees at best. Many areas colder than that. Overnight temperatures are going to be around freezing, slightly higher where we've got cloud. Below that, if we have got clearer skies. And of course, those are the actual temperatures. When you add on the wind chill, the feel-like temperature is going to be a good degrees cooler than that. So at the moment, temperatures are high teens, 18, 19 degrees in a few spots. Come Tuesday afternoon for all, it'll be feeling like 4 or 5 at best. So big changes coming up, and we'll be able to look at the detail on that in the latest UKV. We'll have a look at some of the long-range charts as well, see how long this cold weather will hang around. There is strong consensus that it will be around for all of next week, but as we get towards next weekend into the following week, that's where we could see a transition back to something more westerly based, which still doesn't mean it's going to be mild, just does mean it's going to be less cold. But there is some uncertainty in those exact details, but all runs eventually do get to a breakdown, so it's not like we're going to be in a perpetual cold pattern for the next couple of weeks. It looks like it's going to be about 7 days of colder conditions, and then it should slowly ease. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, as you start on the live radar, I thought we'd just have a look at the temperatures, to be honest, because there's not going on much in the way of precipitation at the moment. Look at those temperatures, very warm at the moment. Proper oranges out there through today. So temperatures are widely in the mid to high teens. I think it is just about got to 20 degrees in a few spots. Again, we'll look at the net weather live update. We do have a 21 degree out there, but again, I'll wait till we get sort of an official sort of notice from the Met Office. That'll probably be later this evening with their top temperature. But you can see where it's warmest at the moment across central areas, especially into the northwest as well. Got a bit of the Fern effect going on there, where we do have winds coming in from the east. It means it's cold along North Sea coast. You can see blues there within sort of 10-mile radius of the coast, but when the air goes over the Peak District and then falls, it does become denser, more compact, and that does warm it up as well, and that's why it's slightly warmer down here across the northwest, locally warmer. But elsewhere, very warm. Just towards the coastal areas is where it is cool. A typical spring-like warm day. But unfortunately, those North Sea coasts, just because it's still only 5 or 6 degrees, the sea surface temperatures, it means that the air towards the surface is still pretty chilly. So unfortunately, North Sea coast still a bit cold, but elsewhere, a stunning early March day. And you can see it is pretty stunning for much of Europe as well, very warm. The only exception is across parts of western France, and the reason for that is a bit of heavy rain, a bit of thunderstorms developing. You can see some quite big thunderstorms there towards the south of France, but for all of us in the UK it is dry, apart from a bit of rain to the north, and this is the first signs of the cold front that is going to be sweeping southwards, bringing some much colder conditions. Now, if you look at the top temperatures from net weather here, you can see widely we're looking at 17 to 19 degrees today, so pretty much as expected. You can see here 21 degrees at Lakenheath Royal Air Force Base. Again, don't know the validity of that, as it is a good degree or two above the rest of the observation. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what the top temperature is later on. But these will broadly be the top temperatures today. Normally in summer, we look at about 3 p.m. as being the top temperature. But because we are still in March with the sunset, still pretty early and sort of 5, 6 p.m., it means that the top temperature by day is basically when we have the strongest sunshine, and that is around that midday to sort of 2 p.m. point. So these latest observations are probably going to be the peak. So yeah, very pleasant out there today. Now, if you go over to the latest UKV, you can see not too much going on for the rest of today, but that cold front across the north starts to sink southwards overnight tonight, giving some rain across much of Scotland and a bit of Highland snow as well. Now, it does slowly disintegrate away. It did look a little bit stronger a few days ago, but it slowly disintegrates away. But the cold air does slowly sweep in. And you see eventually for Tuesday is when we're all in the very cold air. Monday, it's mainly northern areas. The south could still squeeze a low to maybe mid-teens. But by Tuesday, we're all in the much colder air. And you can see wintry showers coming in from the North Sea. And it really could be pretty interesting on Wednesday, because it does look like we're going to see perhaps a bit of a trough developing. And that could mean that these showers get slightly intensified, more widespread, and you can see them streaming in off the North Sea. You can see quite a few of them have got a wintry flavour. So yeah, it could be some snow around or wintry mix, and you can see we start to see them breaking out during the afternoon, some convection taking place with the stronger sunshine, and again a real mix of rain, sleet, snow, grauple, hail. Could see anything there through Wednesday, so that's one to keep a close eye on, and you can see that continuing through the evening. Of course, as we get closer to the evenings, once the sun sets and these showers are still going, there's a higher chance of seeing something wintry and a higher chance of seeing snow, just because those temperatures do start to fall away. But yeah, could be pretty cold and pretty wintry in a few spots there through Wednesday into Thursday morning. Now for the rest of Thursday, into the afternoon, still a few showers around, again a wintry flavour to them, but nowhere near as intense. And then slowly into Friday, again, some wintriness around, but generally another drier day. And yeah, the morning would be very cold with clearer skies developing. Now, if you look at the upper air temperatures, you can see they are very warm at the moment, 6-7 degrees above freezing. But that's all going to reverse, and by Tuesday afternoon, look at this, all that very cold air mixing in, and we're going to about 6 or 7 degrees below freezing, so almost a 15 degree temperature shift there, and the air mass could get down to maybe -8, -9 in a few isolated spots, but generally speaking, it's around that -5 to -7 spot. That's where we're going to be sitting. So it is cold, not very cold in terms of the actual upper air temperatures, -9, -10. That's where we start to get towards very cold territory. So we're close, but not quite towards those sort of very cold conditions where we would be seeing more widespread wintriness. But still very cold for the time of year. Still a good 7-8 degrees below average. And yeah, that's really going to feed through to those surface temperatures as well. You can see this afternoon temperatures widely into the mid to high teens, very warm, and you can see again 16, 17, 18 degrees. Into Monday, chilly in the north where the cold air is moving in, and there temperatures hardly above 3 to 5 degrees. In the far south though, we could still just about get towards the low teens, 13, 14, but all going to change into Tuesday. Widespread frost in the north, southern areas 4 or 5 degrees, and by the afternoon, look at that, hardly getting above 5 to 8 degrees. Maybe still just squeezing a 9 or 10 in the remnants of milder air in the south, but further northwards, very, very cold. And into Wednesday morning, widespread frost where we have clearer skies, south and the east, a bit of cloud around, so more towards 2 to 4 degrees. And by Wednesday afternoon, look at those temperatures with those heavy showers around, hardly getting above the low single digits for some, 2 to 5 degrees where we have showers. If you escape those showers, may just get to 7 or 8. But regardless, a very cold feel out there through Wednesday. Into Thursday, again, a frost developing. We have clearer skies. Again, I wouldn't take these overnight temperatures too literally, as they will vary massively where we see cloud. So you could be shown 2 or 3 degrees here, but it's actually -1 or -2, and that would just be because the cloud does move. And of course, we're sort of 3 or 4 days away, so small, patches of cloud cover disappearing or appearing. It is very much in the realm of possibility at this time frame. Into Thursday afternoon, of course, we're slightly drier and some more sunshine. So although it is still cold, 5 to 8 degrees for most, it will feel slightly better than Wednesday with less showers around. But of course, overnight, as I said, there would be more of a widespread frost as we do start to see those clearer skies developing. So yeah, a very cold week coming up. We'd call this sort of normal, maybe chilly in January. Nothing special for January. But for mid-March, it is pretty cold indeed. Of course, this pattern in January, though, this exact sort of synoptic pattern would deliver much colder than this. It probably would be 2 or 3 degrees by day, well below freezing overnight, and we would be seeing quite widespread wintriness. But of course, being March, with the surface, the ground temperatures being much warmer, of course, after this very warm weekend, and of course, the strengthening sun, it just means that those temperatures aren't able to stay as low as they would be in sort of mid-winter. Now, if we do have a look at the longer range now, if we start on the latest GFS, of course, we saw in yesterday's video, the GFS was wobbling a little bit, even with the medium range, with how long this colder spell was going to last. Now, it was just a wobble yesterday because it's completely reversed back to what the GM and the ECMWF was showing, which is cold air for the rest of this upcoming week, so Monday through to Sunday. Very cold conditions for all, before it starts to then tail off beyond that. You can see the northeasterlies arrive through Monday and Tuesday. Very cold conditions for all. And again, some upper troughs moving through, especially Wednesday there. That's why we're seeing those showers pep up. This slight upper trough, and that is those slightly lighter colours, those bluer colours developing. That's a trough within the flow, upper level trough, and that's again going to pep up those showers. Through the weekend, stays cold with flat easterly winds, but eventually into the following week, still chilly easterlies, but the upper air temperatures start to rise as we do see the wind veer back to more of a westerly direction, and it would turn milder. There would be some colder air still around. It would be oscillating between colder and milder sectors, but we would probably not be seeing the overnight frosts, the wintriness. It would be, much more in line with what we'd expect this time of year, and warm air could return for a time. But if we do go back to next Sunday, for example, you can still see it is cold, -5 air. It's still lingering, for it slowly gets shifted away into the following week. Could still take till Tuesday or Wednesday for the proper milder conditions to return. But regardless, it does look like there is an end in sight for this colder conditions, at least at this stage. But yeah, for much of next week, it is just the air streaming in from Scandinavia, where it is very cold for this week. Temperatures back down to, low below freezing. It would be very, very cold for the time of year. You can see that with these blues, and that's exactly where our air is coming from. In another scenario, with this block slightly further northwards, we could have drawn in the -10 isotherm. That is a possibility through mid-March. It's quite difficult, but it is a possibility. But in this sort of scenario, with the wind direction being more of a northeasterly around the high, it means a bit more of a sea track for this air, which means it's -6, -7, not the -10. So you can see how subtle differences in the flow can make quite a big difference to the exact temperatures, especially this time of year where there is quite a big warming effect, depending on the exact length of travel of that air. Now, if you do look at the latest GM, very similar to the GFS, northeasterlies, that upper trough moving through Wednesday, and it stays really chilly into next weekend. And then eventually, again, low pressure does break through off the Atlantic, but the jet stream is southerly tracked. So even though we do see the wind go to a west instead of a northeasterly, it probably still would be pretty cold. If we go out here by next Tuesday with that westerly flow returning, still mid to high single digits, so not too much of an improvement. Probably feeling slightly warmer with the wind coming in off the Atlantic and not the North Sea from Scandinavia, but it still isn't particularly mild, and that's because we are seeing the jet stream shifted to our south. The air is streaming from a northwesterly direction, so it's chilly, nothing amazingly cold, but it wouldn't be a massive improvement on what we're seeing next week. So that's one to keep a close eye on, even though, yes, the easterlies and northeasterlies look likely to end into sort of the next week, after this upcoming week. It might not be that much of an improvement. It might be a really slow thaw out from this colder spell. Now, finally, if we compare to the ECMWF, very similar. Very cold over the next week. And then into next weekend, high pressure does topple, so that could decrease the risk of any wintry showers, but it could increase the chances of frosts as we see clearer skies. And then eventually low pressure does break through. Similar to the GM, the jet stream is initially southerly tracked, so it could keep it colder for a time into the following week, but eventually the jet stream moves northwards again, and you see a more typical Atlantic flow with milder and colder air clashing, so it could go pretty unsettled, but at least it wouldn't be quite as cold. Now finally, we finish up by looking at the latest ensembles. You can see the GFS has reverted back to what we thought was going to happen, which is a cold for all of next week. You can see down to -6, -7, and kind of hovering around there, slowly warming up through the week, but staying pretty cold all the way out to next weekend, and perhaps even into the following week for a day or two. And then generally we were back to average. Precipitation picks up a little bit, and then, lots of deviation. So it looks like more of an unsettled, but not massively mild end to March. Again, things could still change change, but at the moment it looks back to average, colder, milder sectors, but with pretty moderate precipitation. So yeah, pretty chilly next week, of course, and then could remain chilly beyond that. See the 2 meter temperatures down towards kind of 5 or 6 degrees, holding there, maybe slowly increasing through the week. As we do head into the final third of March, you see more of an upwards trend, but even right into the extended range, not getting close to what we're seeing at the moment. So yeah, it does look like these 17, 18, 19 degrees are out of the picture, at least for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, might have to get back with those coats, especially gloves and hats this week, and then hopefully we can slowly take off the layers once again towards the end of the month. And if we finish by looking at the ECMWF, it has held its ground over the past couple of days, even those slight wobbles from the GFS. And you can see it is cold for the whole of the week. No upwards tick at all, even into next weekend. It's really around the 18th, 19th. So the next sort of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday time where we see the uptick. Again, that could change, but yeah, ECMWF very persistent with a pretty prolonged cold spell here. And then eventually back towards average, precipitation picking up. And then it does look a little bit more rough there into the final third. So yeah, we're going to have to just brave the next 7, 8, 9 days. Hopefully this is the last colder kind of pattern we have for the next kind of 7 or 8 months. But yeah, still got to contend with this. So yeah, keep you updated over the coming days. Hopefully another warmer spell will be in sight very soon. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. And I'll see you again for another video soon.